Your grandmother kept emergency cash stashed away inside an old coffee can pushed back in the cabinet. It was never growing or moving, just sitting in the dark waiting for something terrible to happen. That single image silently became your entire financial education without anyone ever explaining it directly to you. Nobody sat you down to explain money struggles, but you absorbed the quiet stress in the house. You noticed your mother and her tight jaw when the family car made a terribly strange noise. You saw your father quickly change the subject whenever someone casually brought up planning for future retirement. You hit an invisible wall built entirely of habit, history, and deeply unspoken beliefs about your limits. You secretly learned that people with your background simply do not end up with significant financial wealth. Money became a profound source of quiet shame long before you truly understood what money actually represented. You wore the exact same 3 shirts on rotation and pretended that it was a deliberate choice. You learned to stop asking for things because the painful look on their faces felt much worse. You quickly realized that wanting more out of life was dangerous and ambition belonged to other people. You believed you were supposed to just be grateful and suppress any real hunger for financial growth. You stopped growing because everyone around you had stopped growing, assuming that was exactly how life worked. But a constant heavy static remained inside your chest, a quiet sense that things felt entirely wrong. You felt deeply that the life map you were forcefully handed completely failed to match the terrain. Then one day, sitting somewhere entirely unremarkable, a single thought forcefully entered your mind like a crowbar. You realized successful people did not start with more. They just decided the ceiling was not real. Deciding to opt out of the script does not feel like empowerment. It feels terrifyingly like vertigo. You feel like you stepped completely off a ledge without knowing if solid ground exists right below. You start reading obsessively in total silence because you know exactly how your current circle inevitably reacts. Your circle possesses an incredibly efficient immune system that immediately identifies and attacks any signs of ambition. So you stay incredibly quiet, reading late at night while building a private world inside your head. The growing gap between your mind and your actual life starts making everything feel entirely strange today. You attempt your first business project, and perhaps it fails quickly or quietly dies after 6 months. It absolutely does not matter, because simply trying completely separates you from 90% of ordinary people. Most people spend their entire lives endlessly talking about things they should have done or almost attempted. But this separation absolutely has a price, and the painful invoice for that choice is inevitably coming. 2 or 3 tough years into the journey, your bank account totally ignores the brutal hours invested. This is the painful part of the story that everyone skips in their glamorous online success reels. This phase is incredibly ugly and slow, leaving you deeply tired in ways that sleep cannot fix. You keep repeating actions that still resist working, while everyone else enjoys a restful and normal life. Your friends eventually stop inviting you out because they just assume you will politely decline their invitations. You constantly tell yourself that this deep sacrifice is simply the required price for reaching your goals. But chosen sacrifice still hurts immensely, especially when worried family members start asking when things get real. Your mother gently offers you money she desperately needs, which honestly makes the entire situation feel worse. You inevitably take a massive, humiliating loss and must sit silently with what that painful number means. In a dark, early morning moment, the whole project suddenly seems not just terribly difficult, but stupid. The lingering doubt sounds incredibly reasonable, loudly reminding you that nobody from your background ever truly succeeds. You sit with that pain, and then you stand up simply because going backward is completely impossible. You thoroughly burned the floor on the other side, so returning to the accepted ceiling is impossible. You keep pushing forward, growing slightly harder and much quieter, feeling a sediment of profound silent loneliness. Something finally starts working, bringing the very first sign of genuine success that truly belongs to you. It is absolutely nowhere near $1 million, but it finally feels undeniably real and incredibly yours. Maybe your new side income simply matches your monthly rent for the very first time in history. Or maybe a complete stranger finally pays you actual cash for something you carefully built from scratch. You stare at the unexpected number for too long because years ago it felt completely mathematically impossible. You quickly close the laptop and go to sleep because there is absolutely nobody you can call. The people you desperately want to tell completely lack the context to deeply understand what it means. Explaining the profound meaning would require explaining everything, and you totally lack the energy for that task. So you simply let the moment be real, silently believing for the very first time it worked. You finally know deeply inside your bones that the invisible ceiling is something you can actually break. But the emotional stakes suddenly get worse because this real success means everything can now be lost. Your fear totally changes shape, shifting from worrying it will fail to fearing it might suddenly stop. You become intensely protective, refusing to share your momentum because comfort is where progress slowly dies today. This crucial first win simply proves your chosen direction is absolutely correct, giving you fuel to continue. The crossing happens on an ordinary Wednesday when you calculate the familiar numbers and they finally clear. You successfully hit 7 figures for the first time, attaching that impossible milestone to your own name. You check the account multiple times, fully expecting a dramatic emotional release or a loud triumphant feeling. Instead, you experience a profound and deeply disorienting quiet, crossing a completely unprecedented family wealth boundary today. Your family possesses absolutely no emotional vocabulary to properly comprehend the monumental threshold you successfully crossed alone. You sit quietly inside the absolute silence, like someone standing inside a house entirely emptied of furniture. You call your mother, but deliberately avoid mentioning the massive number so it never sounds like bragging. You intensely fear that revealing the complete truth will permanently create an unbridgeable river between you both. So you just say everything is going perfectly fine, while silently sitting with your monumental secret accomplishment. The wealth immediately solves your oldest problems, but rapidly reveals complex new struggles you never knew existed. You desperately need entirely new knowledge about complicated tax structures, solid asset protection, and complex investment vehicles. Coming from a tiny house with a coffee can safe, nobody ever handed you a wealth manual. You quickly realize that officially becoming a millionaire is actually the starting point of a harder education. You are no longer the same person, yet you must navigate living inside your old familiar world. Returning home for the annual holidays, you quickly smell the same familiar scent trapped inside those walls. You see the same incredibly loud television and the exact same uneven table balanced upon a napkin. You still intensely love everyone there, but an uncomfortable gap now exists between your two different lives. You casually pay for the entire family dinner, quickly creating a silence that feels incredibly awkward afterward. Everyone quickly moves past the quiet moment, but the silent, undeniable shift in family dynamics absolutely happened. You slowly begin losing people who are not explicitly leaving, drifting apart like two completely untethered boats. Old friends begin treating you drastically differently, becoming awkwardly quiet or aggressively testing your completely new reality. One close childhood friend makes a harsh, resentful joke during dinner, and you simply let it pass. You never formally address the painful tension, and you slowly stop calling each other moving forward today. You also lose relationships that completely relied upon the old struggling version of you needing constant saving. You silently grieve these quiet losses because openly explaining the isolating nature of success usually sounds arrogant. Success completely isolates you exactly like failure does, leaving you wondering if anybody truly sees you clearly. Then comes the heavy guilt of watching your mother painfully worry about money you could easily provide. You desperately carry the silent survivor guilt of completely escaping a terrible financial fate you were assigned. Making it actually does bring genuine freedom, finally allowing you to safely silence the constant background dread. You can finally help people with actual massive resources, which is the only real way things change. You can provide your future children a fundamentally superior starting line, making every painful sacrifice totally worthwhile. But bravely being the family pioneer means you severely lack a proper map navigating this new territory. Wealth completely stops after one single generation unless you build the proper architecture to successfully maintain it. You want to provide complete security without accidentally creating a comfortable prison that kills their driving fire. Your family shifts entirely, treating you proudly while silently transforming you into the ultimate trusted financial authority. You suddenly carry the immense, heavy responsibility of knowing your present actions beautifully echo into unborn generations. You completely destroyed the old coffee can limits, replacing them with massive structures your ancestors never imagined. By bravely destroying the ceiling for yourself, you entirely remove it for everyone who naturally follows you. They will just look upwards and happily assume the beautiful, clear, open sky is completely naturally available. They will never truly know about your lonely grinds, your failed attempts, or the silent burdens carried. Generational wealth is not merely an abstract number, it effectively establishes an entirely new family starting line. You brilliantly took the deeply invisible ceiling and successfully transformed it into a completely solid new floor. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please remember to like and subscribe right now. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss out on our future videos. See you soon!